Bird Box is a Netflix original movie directed by Suzanne Bier, based on a novel by Josh Malerman, and is a movie that a few people tweeted me about and said it was really good, but so many others were just tweeting in general and saying it was really good, it was really mesmerizing, scary, psychological, and the characters were really like something that draws you in, and the concept was cool and original, and it was one of the best movies that they saw this year. And I'm glad that you guys felt that way, and that's really cool. I mean, it really is. It really is. Maybe you guys saw something different in this movie that I didn't, but I did not like this movie at all. There's a poll above my head, by the way, if you guys want to grade it, because feel free, and please leave in the comments what you guys thought of the movie. I would love to hear it. I really just did not get the appeal of it. Now, I'm going to get into spoilers a little bit later on, but it takes place in two time periods. You have 5 years in the past, and then present day. And in present day, you have Sandra Bullock playing Mallory, and she has her two children, where basically she's drilling into their heads like, hey, we have to go do this, we have to go do this, and you have to keep your blindfolds on, and you have to listen to me. Now, why they have to keep their blindfolds on? Well, you have to go back 5 years in the past and see that what basically ended up happening is, for some reason, some unknown reason, these creatures suddenly popped up. These creatures that you never actually get to see, that if the actors in the movie see, the characters in the movie see them, they are driven to mass suicide, mass murder, mass whatever, or they're driven to go shit in the woods like bears and live like, crazy people. I don't really necessarily know if that third one happened, but it might have made it more interesting and slightly more comedic and added about one layer of depth to this movie, because this movie did not have a lot of depth. Now, the concept of it, okay, creatures you can't look at or you die, monsters you can't look at or you die. Cool, maybe not wholly original. Reminds me a bit of A Quiet Place, even though with A Quiet Place there were creatures that you could see, you just couldn't make any noise. If you made any noise, very, very loud noises, you would die. The problem is A Quiet Place made better use of its concept and was also tighter and did not spread itself out too much. It kept the focus on the fact that it was just the day in the events after this apocalypse took place. You also get some backstory, and then you get too much backstory, but then also like you just get some characters that you really don't care about. There really isn't a whole lot to this movie. With it, you'll get the basic characters that are like just there simply to advance the plot. You'll get some depth to the character. Like there's a character named Tom, played by Trevante Rhodes from Moonlight. Him and Mallory, Sandra Bullock's character, actually have some pretty good chemistry. Like, they really do. They actually did pretty well in this. There's also John Malkovich, Sarah Paulson, and B.D. Wong. And John Malkovich plays a typical crazy, insane jackass that is probably just John Malkovich in general. B.D. Wong plays a stock character. He's played better characters in movies before. He actually played a better character, recurring role on most recent show or series of American Horror Story Apocalypse. And then also Sarah Paulson, who I absolutely love and has been perfect in so many seasons of American Horror Story. And it just seems like so much potential of this concept was wasted. Like, I get what they were going for. If you want to tell but don't show, then okay, but that just means that you're disguising the fact that your concept's about that thin, that you don't have all that much to it. And really, that was the big problem with this movie. There just wasn't a lot of depth to it. Sure, the chemistry between Tom and Mallory were fine, the children, there was that kind of stuff, there was that good bond, but really, not a very scary movie, not very original, not very good, and I really just didn't understand the hype behind it. So now I'm going to get into spoilers, so I'm just going to say right here from 4 minutes on spoilers, 3, 2, 1, and go. So why is it called Bird Box? Well, 5 years in the past, you find out how Mallory got these two birds that she took out of this cage and put in this box. After going to this hospital appointment with her sister, played by Sarah Paulson, shit really starts to go south. You got a little bit of a hint while they were in Mallory's apartment that things were starting to go like south in some cities, but it hadn't hit their city yet. And then all of a sudden, shit just starts to go down after she gets examined by this doctor, who ends up showing up later in the movie. I mean, is a good character, don't worry. But people are just suddenly going nuts. Everybody's just going absolutely crazy, hitting their heads in the windows, throwing themselves like in front of vehicles, or crashing their cars because, oh yeah, they're seeing these creatures that drive them absolutely goddamn insane. So it even drives his sister insane. So Sarah Paulson doesn't last for. Sarah Paulson's in this movie for about 10 goddamn minutes. That was pretty disappointing to me. I'm not too shocked, but that was pretty disappointing. Mallory ends up in a crashed car. She ends up running with other people, but because she's pregnant, she can't really move all that well. But then Tom Trevante Rhodes' character does end up getting her into this house where there's various stock characters. You got John Malkovich playing the asshole. You got B.D. Wong playing who he plays, and an assortment of other characters, like this one really pretty brunette. I didn't catch her name, but it was her. She was fine. I think she was supposed to be like a cop in training. And then there's a spiky blonde hair guy with tattoos, and they don't really factor that much into the movie. They do let a couple people in over time. They let in this one woman that is also pregnant, and that comes back into play later. Gee, I wonder how Sandra Bullock got the 2 kids. She didn't have twins. I wonder how she got the 2 kids. But then later on, there's this other character who I believe it was the comic relief in Get Out, and he works at a supermarket. Well, hey, I work at a supermarket. I locked the whole damn place up when this shit was starting to go down. Let's go and get some supplies. Oh wait, we can't look at these creatures or otherwise we die. So let's put on blindfolds. Oh wait, how the fuck are we going to drive if we're blindfolded? We'll use GPS. All this other technology in the fucking world's going down. News feeds are going down. Cell phones won't work and this kind of stuff, but somehow GPS is fucking working. That's just what I didn't fucking understand. That actually pissed me off. I mean, whatever, it's a logic loophole. I don't expect too much logic in horror movies, but I just did not fucking understand how the GPS was fucking working. But they use GPS and are rolling over speed bumps, hitting into curves, rolling over bodies, because the Jeep was actually the second smartest character in the movie, by the way, and it was just a car. The other smart character was these birds, and how did she find these birds? Oh yeah, once they get into the supermarket, which actually was a pretty loaded supermarket. It's a generic supermarket, but it was a very loaded one. They get their snacks and their drinks and this kind of stuff, and John Malkovich is an alcoholic. I'm shocked. I'm not, but whatever. Mallory finds these two or three lovebirds that are in this. Well, I mean, they're lovebird-esque. I don't actually know bird breeds too well, but she finds them in this cage. So she takes the cage with her. And cool, okay, saving the birds. The birds come back into play because the birds freak out and tweet a whole bunch when the creatures are getting close. And since you can't look at the creatures, you got to rely on the birds. If the birds are tweeting and all freaking out, either they want food, they want millet, they want a mate, or the creatures are around. And it could be any combination. Maybe the creatures make them want to mate. Who really knows? I actually would have liked to have seen the movie from the bird's perspective. Probably would have been a whole lot more interesting than this. Somehow the birds don't go insane looking at these creatures. Maybe it's different for animals. But anyway, the supermarket character gets completely offed because they got in the supermarket and got their food. So, we don't need this guy anymore. So let's spawn a coworker that he used to have, or that he worked with, and let's let him in. And oh wait, he's suddenly one of those that didn't die or didn't go, or just went insane, and is trying to get people to look at it, because apparently some human beings can look at these creatures and be okay and be possessed and just do their bidding. I don't know. But anyway, then we get back to the house. Everybody's got their supplies and everything. Apparently everybody's now got enough supplies to last for a goddamn month. They somehow managed to fit all those groceries in that Jeep. And I know Jeeps are big, but that was weird. But anyway, then you had this budding romance between Tom and Mallory's character, which you knew was going to happen right from the moment where he rescued her. And it was fine. It wasn't tacked on, but it was fine. But John Malkovich's character is an asshole for a reason, because he doesn't want some people in the house. Well, then this other guy gets let in the house that turns out to be one of these batshit insane guys that wants everybody to look at the creatures and see it's so beautiful. And then a whole bunch of other people get offed in the goddamn house, including the other mother, right after her and Mallory give birth at the same time. Convenient. But after this, Tom and Mallory survive. They take the 2 kids. They're growing. The kids grow up. It's like so suddenly present day and everything. Well, Tom ends up getting killed because somehow there are still people driving around in cars that are possessed by these creatures and looking for survivors, looking for supplies, looking for blood to suck on. Whatever. not necessarily, it was what it was. Not explaining everything isn't the worst thing in the world. But again, if you don't have much of a concept to it, then if you don't have much of a concept to begin with, and you're just saying, oh, hey, well, this is happening because this reason, or this is happening, and ooh, leave it to your own interpretation, eventually it just gets to where, okay, well, why are we doing the thinking for you? You're the movie. You're supposed to do, some of the stuff for us and entertain us. I just didn't find this movie very entertaining. Bottom line is, at the end, with these creatures, basically, since you're blindfolded, they have to distort, use distorted voices and use the voices of loved ones from the past to get you to look. And then that happens, and they try that with Mallory, they try that with the kids, it doesn't work. Everybody, the three make it to the sanctuary, and they're safe and everything, apparently, somehow. And then the movie ends. Oh, by the way, Mallory meets the doctor that she saw, earlier in the movie, which was kind of a nice little touch, I guess, because the doctor knew she'd be a good mother somehow. It just wasn't very good. I mean, it's like I wanted to give it a higher grade. I was already in the first bit, the opening sequence, until things started to cool down after they got in the house, John Malkovich and B.D. Wong's house. It was what it was. I was all ready to give it like maybe a B-, and then it just steadily went downhill. People were dumb. People were rock stupid. Everybody was just a stock character, and it didn't really work for me. But anyway, so yeah, D, again, pulls up there. Let me know what you guys thought. I would love to hear it. Do you agree? Do you disagree with what I said? Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. It's been real awesome with John Ritlin, and I will see you soon.